So last year was really tough. Last year was, I've said it to many people, it was the year of work 2 to 3 times as hard to make half as much, if not less. At least that's how we felt in our personal business. It was a year of growth for sure, just not necessarily on the P&L. We got better at sales. We got better with our systems and processes. We stripped down some things and cut some fat and built back stronger. We optimized some processes, and our culture grew during a time where many other companies' cultures fell apart. And culture during a time in a decreased period of productivity, culture being strong is so important, because when you have weak culture in a time like that, things fall apart fast. And we stayed together, which I'm so proud of, and it speaks to the management, that we have, and the leadership that we have, and I'm just really, really proud of where we are right now, because it's so tough when you are struggling to make revenue, you're struggling to pay the marketing bills, to make payroll, you're having to watch accounts and rob Peter to pay Paul sometimes just to get by, taking out lines of credit to taking on additional debt to get where you need to be, and you just ask yourself, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right business? But mainly, what am I doing wrong that these gurus and people on social media are doing right? What am I missing? And all the coaches out there, anybody getting paid for mentorship will tell you, I've got the secret, and I'll teach it to you. And you're missing this tiny little marketing tweak. You're missing this leadership tweak, and they're not wrong. They're not always wrong. Matter of fact, most of the times they're right, but it is those little things. And it's tough when you're in a mastermind and you're surrounded by these other mentors to really know, are you missing anything right now? Or are you doing the right things? You just need to keep doing it. You just need to put your head down, blinders on, and go, and keep going. Because as we've all heard, there are cycles. I was watching the Ray Dalio video this morning on how the machine works, how our market works. And, there's the increasing line of productivity as a stagnant line, and then there's the long-term debt cycle, and then there's the short-term debt cycle that's following the long-term debt cycle. And so sometimes we get in, we're too magnified. We're listening to this guy over here and this girl over there on the things that we need to be doing, and as long as you are staying plugged in, and you have a macro view as well as a micro view of how to do what you're trying to do, meaning like watching lots of individual people who have already surpassed what you're trying to accomplish, and you're following those people closely, you don't have to take every bit of advice and do every single thing like they're recommending. Sometimes you just need to stay the course and keep doing what you're doing, because we get too hyper-focused, we get stuck in the magnifying glass, and we forget that there's cycles to this. It ebbs and flows, and sometimes when we're doing the right thing, we just haven't been doing it long enough for it to actually pay dividends. And just as of the first or second week of the new year, it's like we've turned a corner. It's like the things, I'm not saying we didn't grow. I did say we grew massively last year in ways that didn't show up on the P&L. So there was growth and changes and improvements made, but God's like, it's like just as of the turn of the new year, we've got deals coming in that were not coming, and we've got multiple 6-figure deals on the board right now, and large 5-figure deals on the board right now, 40 plus deals on the board with big revenue. It's just, I guess it was encouraging to me when all last year I had this thought, this cloudy question in my head of like, what am I missing? What am I doing wrong? What are these other people doing that I'm not catching the memo on? And I had this cloudy kind of thought of like, maybe I am doing the right thing and it's just gonna work out. But then you have the other, I'm a big fan of Kent Clothier, and I'm in his mastermind, have been for a long time, and he says a lot, hope is not a strategy. But I found myself saying like, I hope it just turns. I hope it just turns for the better and things start working out. And I'm not gonna lie, on one side of things, it has seemed like that. This year has seemed like, man, things are just turning up and it's working now. The machine is pumping. The thing that I've built that was working all years past that just turned off last year or required maintenance week after week after week after week to make it turn out money is now, it's just pumping and it feels smooth. It's not gonna be like that forever. But on the other hand, you do have to acknowledge that last year we ripped a lot of stuff apart and we optimized and put it back together, because during times of tightening and lack of revenue, you got to pull out the magnifying glass and you got to get in there. So I guess to cap this off, 7-minute video at this point, I was just kind of rambling, is be surrounded by the mentors and the gurus. You don't have to pay all of them for their advice, but just be immersed in your world, whatever that world is for what you do, and make sure that you're hearing all of the stuff. Find the common thread between all of the voices out there and just make sure that you've got a good pulse on things. Once you do that, it doesn't necessarily mean that if it's not working out for you right then, that you're doing the wrong thing. Sometimes you just got to put your head down, blinders on, and go, baby. Cheers to an awesome 2024. I'm hoping that this momentum that we have right now is going to continue. I pray that it does. And I hope that you guys catch the same momentum in your businesses as well. Later.